반짝이는 눈빛 눈이 부셔 매일 날 감싸주는 손길.
The shocking truth was finally revealed. Yoon Sung-ho wasn't just blocking things but was actually the father of Yoon Yoo-jin and the husband of Shin Yo-jin. This moment was pivotal as it was more important than ever for Go Ji-seok and Go Hana to understand one another. Yoon Sung-ho, fully aware that their families were enemies, humbled himself and kneeled before them, pleading for their help even though it was incredibly difficult for him to do so. Seeing the proud and confident Yoon Sung-ho in such a vulnerable state moved both Go Ji-seok and Go Hana. They couldn't bring themselves to turn down such a sincere plea from someone who was usually so composed. Yoon Sung-ho promised that he would uncover the loan sharks responsible and finally resolve the long-standing misunderstandings. He also revealed that the real murderer of Go Ji-seok's parents was Choi Myung-ji, a fact that left Go Ji-seok in a state of shock and rage. On top of that, he learned that Choi Myung-ji was the reason why Shin Yo-jin had fallen into a coma. Go Hana agreed to work with him to catch Choi Myung-ji, driven by a fierce desire for revenge, knowing that there was no turning back now. Meanwhile, Go Hana quietly walked down the hospital corridor and entered Shin Yo-jin's room. A woman she had once truly resented and hated, Shin Yo-jin now lay there fragile and helpless. Back then, Shin Yo-jin had seemed like a powerful, intimidating figure, but now, seeing her like this, emotions of pity, anger, and an inexplicable tenderness filled Go Hana's heart. Despite all the bitterness, Go Hana couldn't help but feel a deep sense of sympathy. She softly wiped Shin Yo-jin's face with a damp towel, silently caring for her, all the while making excuses to herself. She told herself it wasn't because she liked Shin Yo-jin, but because she too had been a victim of Choi Myung-ji and had once loved her grandmother Eun-chong. The deeper truth, however, was that seeing Shin Yo-jin in such a state caused her heart to ache. There had been times in the past when she had truly thought of Shin Yo-jin as a mother, and as she stayed up all night caring for her, something changed. After hours of care, Shin Yo-jin woke up from what seemed like a deep long sleep. The first thing Shin Yo-jin saw was Go Hana asleep in a corner of the room, her face calm despite the exhaustion. She had been knocked down by Choi Myung-ji, but as she slowly processed the situation, she couldn't help but feel a profound shift in her emotions as she gazed at Go Hana. The warmth of her frozen heart started to thaw. Shin Yo-jin, realizing that Go Hana had been taking care of her, began to wonder why. Despite everything, she couldn't ignore the tenderness Go Hana was showing her. She had always cherished her false family, Choi Myung-ji and Yoon Se-young, but no one had ever shown her such genuine care. It made Shin Yo-jin question what true family meant. Perhaps it wasn't blood, but sincerity that mattered most. Go Hana was startled when she saw Shin Yo-jin awake and immediately felt the tense atmosphere in the room. She nervously asked when Shin Yo-jin had woken up and offered to call for a doctor, her voice trembling with relief. Despite the moment's tension, it was clear that Go Hana felt an immense sense of a comfort that Shin Yo-jin had awakened. At this moment, revenge on Choi Myung-ji remained a priority, but it became clear that Go Hana and Shin Yo-jin would soon form a new band under the title of mother and daughter, something that neither had ever truly experienced before. After everything had unfolded, Shin Yo-jin's full recovery allowed her to learn from Yoon Sung-ho everything that had happened while she was unconscious. As she listened, her resolve grew stronger. She had one task left: to bring Choi Myung-ji to justice for the murder of her daughter. Her cold, unyielding resolve grew as she prepared to take revenge. Choi Myung-ji, who had come to pretend to care for Shin Yo-jin while still maintaining her facade as a sister-in-law, would soon face the consequences of her actions. When Choi Myung-ji tried to touch Shin Yo-jin, believing she was still in a coma, Shin Yo-jin's eyes suddenly shut open. The tension in the room was palpable as Choi Myung-ji, in shock, tried to flee, but it was already too late. The exit had been carefully blocked by bodyguards and police, and Choi Myung-ji was swiftly caught. In a moment of cold justice, Shin Yo-jin slapped her hard across the face, the sound echoing in the room. Her voice, full of fury and resolve, told Choi Myung-ji that she was going to rot in prison for the rest of her life.
'Cause you are beautiful.